grounded. He will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cowk.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cowk with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
And a good Masters Thursday out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports. You know, I really should have this down, on the
You're not off my phone.
yeah, it'd sound a little better.
It still gives you chills.
Maybe it wouldn't sound like we were in our garage. No other way to get this happening.
I'm disappointed ever since I've changed the ringtone to that because I forget that I have it on here and I always change it this time of year. And nobody's called me since I've had it on. I'm like, come on, call me. Quit texting me. Call me. Oh, well. I bet you were in a good mood.
I love the Masters.
I know you do. I woke up this morning thinking, Skinny's going to be in a great mood today.
Except for the fact that we're just, going to have a bad show.
That's the perfect timing for that promo before we went on air.
Other than that we're just going to mail it in and have a bad show. I am in a great mood. The Masters is underway. We'll get you a leaderboard check. Mike Weir. What? Anyway, he's tied for the lead. It's early. Mike Weir, Scott Stallings.
I love the overreaction today at about noon. Where people go, did you see what so-and-so did? He's going to go playing on Sunday, playing like that. Come on, it's just Thursday.
Some guy named Moronk. Don't know who that is. Kevin Kiz, the Kisner. King Louie is 1 under. Keith Mitchell is 1 under. Fat Pat is 1 under.
There's your boy.
And Sahith Theegala is 1 under. There are some even pars out there. Jason Kokrak, Taylor Gooch, Russell Henley. Larry Mize playing the 87 champ, playing in his final Master. Sergio Garcia. Did you see Sergio Garcia's hat yesterday in the par 3?
No.
Oh, my gosh.
I had it on. I didn't.
So it was like a light pink trucker-style hat with the rope. You know, the rope?
Mm-hmm.
The rope was black. The hat itself was light pink, and it said Azalea in black.
Oh, yes, I did catch
Dude,
that.
that was a sweet hat.
I caught that. I thought to myself, what is that? What does it say? And then when he got
Azalea.
right in front of the camera.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
If anybody has any last-minute Christmas idea for me, I've got an idea. I want my boss, Frank Shirley. Right? Except I want one of those Masters hats.
Like
Sergio was wearing.
I'll have to show you this hat. You do not apply to this hat. You wouldn't want this hat, but it was the same style like that.
Mm-hmm.
And on the front in fancy lettering, it says "Girl Dad."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I sent that to my wife. Said Father's Day.
Yeah, I don't want that one. That would be kind of weird.
No, I don't think that would apply.
Yeah, it's not for me. Anyway, Masters is underway. We'll keep you updated. We'll talk about it in the next segment as far as give you another leaderboard check. Today seems to be like the day to shoot a good one. It's going to be warm. The wind so far is pretty minimal. So maybe the best day of scoring all week is going to be right here, right off the bat in round 1 at Augusta National. The rains tomorrow and Saturday for sure are kind of looming out there ominously. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day. Today, coming up on the show, a little bit of Major League Baseball talk. Man, that pitch clock seems to be working. I read off those stats yesterday. We can do it again today as far as how it's changed the game a little bit, speeding it up, and changing the way it's played. It seems like the game is starting to move backward, which in my opinion is a great thing for it to be played like it used to be played.
Why we fell in love with the game, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
My new hat came in. My new Brewers cap. My Brewers are rolling, baby. Through 6 games, the best record, and they're tied for the best record in the National League. Did you see what happened yesterday at the end of the game? the rookie Mitchell hit a walk-off home run, and then he did something afterwards in the like talking to the media that I don't know that I would advise. And I'll just ask you if you would do such a thing.
For the Brewers?
Yes.
I did not see this.
Yeah. The Masters stuff coming up. Spring football changes proposed by Hugh Freeze. Think it's interesting. One, Bob Stoops has made his opinion known, and he agrees wholeheartedly with what Hugh Freeze has come up with. And then the Thunder control their own destiny still with 2 games left, but it got harder after last night. Tell you what happened. Joel Embiid, we'll go ahead and give him the old MVP trophy. I knew William would be listening. William will not be happy with my choice of teams, but that's just the way it goes.
Me and you can root for the same team this weekend. Now you have a rooting interest for the Rangers because they play the Cubs.
That's right.
There you go.
I mean, let's be honest. Do we really think the Brewers are worried about the Cubs? Didn't take long for me to start trash talking.
Do you not feel guilty about trash talking on the radio to somebody that can't talk trash back?
Absolutely not.
Sorry, Will.
Yeah.
You can text all you
want.
want.
You can text all you want, but we don't have to read them. All right, 225, speaking of that text line, 225-9698 is the phone or the text line, 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We can talk about any of those things. Whatever else might be on your mind, feel free to chime right in at 225-9698. If you're going to be outside the listening area, there are a couple ways to stay in touch with the show. You can log on to kadsam.com, or you can download the app. The Paragon app has it all. Radio, Penny News. Go pick up a free copy of the Penny News. It's out everywhere right now at your favorite local newsstand. Also, Big Elk and Paragon TV when that's rolling. And, of course, the Skinny on Sports podcast. You mentioned some other places. kadsam.com has it. iTunes has it. Apple or Amazon Music.
Amazon Music
has it.
I frequent that a lot, so I was really pleased that our webmaster hooked that up.
Android. It's available.
Android, Spotify.
Spotify.
Another popular one.
We're cool. You know you're cool when you're on Spotify.
Same place Joe Rogan Experience is on.
Well,
right?
there you are.
You got to be right there. So
you can find us
anywhere. Got a feeling they won't censor us or.
You'd like to think
if
that
they let
maybe
Joe Rogan, yeah.
The word skinny isn't going to offend anybody on Spotify.
Apparently it does on Facebook. Real.
All right, so how are you today, Jared?
I'm good. I'm real good. Another cool start. We had practice last night. It was cold, but man, thank God it wasn't windy. Because I would have said, guys, pack it up. We're not doing this tonight. Another cool start this morning. But it's supposed to get nice this weekend, right, for Easter?
Yeah, it's going to be very nice.
I'm looking forward to the Easter egg hunts. I think I might do some more grilling. Hang out outside as much as I can while we got this weather. So, look, you got big Easter plans? I know we're going to do a show tomorrow, Good Friday, so it'll be a good show.
Thankfully, since this one's not going to be.
It's going to be crap.
We might have the same problem tomorrow, though.
That's a problem.
Yeah, we'll got a little Easter egg dyeing party at the house tomorrow.
That's a good idea.
With nieces and Wyatt. And there's some there's an Easter parade because, alumni weekend at Sayre is always on the Easter weekend. So we will go to the parade on Saturday morning. And then we will, as soon as that is over, it'll be time to hit the links with the alumni tournament over in Sayre. Speaking of Will, he'll be my partner. That's why I need to kind of ease up on the trash talk. Got to have him in fine form, in his best form.
He might suddenly get the shanks on you.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the old big driver starts leaking right a little bit.
Make you carry him.
We'll be playing golf, and of course the Masters on, and that'll be even while we're playing. Obviously, and I kind of focused on that as well. Especially if the guys that I want to be in the hunt are in the hunt, then it becomes even more. Becomes even harder to concentrate on what you're doing. Trying to see the shots and keep up with the leaderboard as we're playing. But no, it's always Easter's always an awesome time. Obviously with what it means as well for Sunday, and And so, yeah, we always have a really nice time over the Easter weekend. What about you?
Yeah, like I said, Saturday, we're gonna go the Easter egg hunt, and I want to cook out. So I have some family over, so I want to cook some lunch, and then Sunday, do the Easter thing with my wife's family. Go to church, and I've been put in charge to make dinner. Here's the challenge. So Jared, make us dinner, Easter dinner, on your flat grill. So what do you want? So you figure it out. I can't do burgers every time, so I got to think of something, right? You got any tips? Let me know. I've done fajitas. I've done both meat and chicken. I've done fried rice. So you got any ideas? I'm all ears. So nothing major. That's about it. Not doing a lot of traveling or anything like that. And just planning on watching a lot of the Masters.
Yeah, I got the.
Hopefully, do it on my back porch if it's nice enough outside.
I've got hams to cook for Saturday. My sister always has a big group of family. Kind of the tournament eliminates me from a lot of that, unfortunately, but I'd still go ahead and cook the ham that they can enjoy during that time. So it's going to be fun. So tonight, biggest game since the COVID year for Thunder basketball. It's Oklahoma City with 2 games remaining on their regular season schedule. They are out in Utah, in Salt Lake City, to take on the Jazz. The Thunder, if they win both games, will be in the play-in tournament. They control their own destiny, even though they've hit a little bit of a rough patch here down the stretch, 4-6 in their last 10, which has put them in a precarious spot, especially after last night, with the Dallas Mavericks overcoming an 11-point halftime deficit to knock off the Sacramento Kings 123-119. Kyrie Irving was incredible in the fourth quarter with 16 of his, 31. It was a game that at halftime it was looking really good for the Thunder, really good. And then Dallas came out and was able to turn that thing on its head. And so Dallas and Oklahoma City are in a tie for the last play-in spot. Good news is for the Thunder, they own the tiebreak, so if they end up tied, doesn't matter. Oklahoma City will make it into the play-in game. Problem is they've got to win both games. If they don't, if they split, then you got to hope that Dallas loses again. And even Utah loses again, because Utah would move into a tie, or at least in the loss column with the Thunder, if Utah can knock off Oklahoma City tonight. Thunder lost 3 straight for that 4-6 over the last 10. It's still an interesting spot for Oklahoma City, Jared. With this young team, it's not a playoff game, but it might as well be tonight. And it kind of has been over the last week and a half or so, knowing where they sit, knowing what they needed to do. And I think as great as it's been and as surprising as it's been for Oklahoma City to have the season that they've had, I also think now that you're getting into these situations where you have to win the game, the result is all of a sudden magnified beyond anything we thought it was going to be going into the year. You're starting to see that there's some pretty major flaws with this team that still have to be fixed in order to be one of those teams that really truly contends for like a home court seed in the Western Conference.
Is it weird that that's kind of comforting for me?
Oh, sure. Because you never saw it coming. Like, it's hard for me to get real mad if they lose tonight and don't make the play-in.
Right.
Because I didn't think they had any chance to be here anyhow.
Right. And to see these flaws and pressure situations, yes, a lot of that's due to youth. A lot of youth on this team. But it kind of like, okay, now we're exposing some things that we need to address in the offseason, whether it be through the draft or acquisitions otherwise, or stuff to work on in Summer League, and then really make a push for next year. It's kind of weird and comforting. But I still want to get into the postseason for the fact of that youth experiencing the postseason atmosphere, win or lose. So obviously still rooting for them to win, despite the flaws that we're seeing, because any more games than anyone else is playing is a bonus. So, and that is what it is. That's all I'm looking at it is. I still have always been wholeheartedly approaching this season as whatever happens in the good is a bonus. And so if they can get into the playoffs, I'm like, all right, that's great. Bonus games. I love it. But the process is still a process that we're working through to get to that very high level of winning and competing for titles and championships, which I think is coming sooner than later. But, yeah, so tonight's a big game, huge game, very winnable game, and I think they know that, and they got to keep that. What do we got?
Hang on.
Place in Augusta National that has become a friend
Breaking
to all of us. And today is Masters Thursday.
Tiger Woods now driving.
Sorry, Jared.
I'll allow that interruption.
We had
That's
to
fine.
interrupt you with the opening tee shot
Totally get it.
of his 25th Masters.
And look at all those
One Tiger
patrons.
Woods.
His
Open big
last
wins.
question mark?
Last time he wins? Question
wow.
mark.
Wow.
An early tee pickup, which normally signifies it's right down the middle.
Down the middle.
And it is.
Nice
so
roll.
Tiger Woods right
Good.
down the
All right.
middle.
Good deal. Good deal. Do we got to do that for every shot now? For
We
him,
might.
or-
we might do that for every shot as we move along throughout the day.
Well, back to my point. Big game tonight. I'm curious. It's on the road. No, the Utah, or they haven't been eliminated either, have they? No. Without looking.
Not sure what the. I'm not sure. No, for sure not. Because
It's
if
them,
the Thunder lose them all,
Mavs,
Mavs lose them all, and Utah wins, they'll be there.
There's essentially 3 teams for one spot
That's
at
right.
this point.
That's right.
So
That's what it is.
they're playing for something too, and it's going to be loud and crazy there at Salt Lake City. They're without their big guy.
Yeah, Walker Kessler not
He's-
on the
he's
floor,
not on the
tonight.
floor, so we'll see what happens. Very curious though for Memphis. Did Milwaukee wrap up the one last night with
Yes,
the
they
win?
did.
So was Memphis going to shut it down on Sunday?
Yeah, Memphis lost last night to New Orleans, and so now
Can they drop from 2?
if they lost both and the Kings won both, they would have the same record. I don't know what the tiebreak is.
They lost both in Kings.
Yeah. If Memphis loses both games, Sacramento wins both games, they'd be tied. I'm not sure who wins the tiebreaker.
Not sure who was.
Denver has clinched the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, so they cannot get to Denver.
I said Milwaukee.
Yeah,
is
you
who
meant-
they played, but I
right,
meant
meant
did
Denver.
that.
Yeah, Milwaukee clinched number 1 overall seed.
That's what they're playing for last night.
That's right. So they're going to be number 1 throughout the playoffs. Denver's number 1 in the Western Conference playoffs. They have that clinched. Now the question is Memphis and Sacramento and who owns that tiebreak.
And what was that crazy theory? Who would Memphis, if the playoffs started today, pair up against? It'd be
one of the play-in
one
teams.
of the play-in teams. But if they dropped to 3,
then you get the Kings. I'm sorry. If you drop to 3, right now you get Golden State.
they probably don't want to drop to 3.
No. No, you'd rather have any of Lakers, Pelicans, Wolves, Thunder out
My whole
ahead of that.
Point to this is everyone's just chalking up the game on Sunday as a win because Memphis will be resting players on Easter Sunday. I'm not just saying that. I don't think that's going to – I don't think that's 100%. That's what I'm trying to say. Is it very likely? Sure. But if there's a scenario where they go, guys, we got to win this game or we got to open up the playoffs against the Warriors.
Okay, so they play at the Bucks tomorrow. Memphis, that is. Okay, who are the Bucks playing now? Chris Middleton re-aggravated a knee last night. Does that get them even more screaming? I think they've already ruled Giannis out.
Just for rest.
Yes, and protection from being hurt.
That should be probably a new a new phrase. Did not play. Coach's decision. Rest. Injury protection.
Yes. So we know that Giannis is out on Friday. So I think that's right. I think people would much rather be. If you're Memphis, you'd much rather be the 2 playing a play-in team, even if it is the Lakers, because the Lakers have been rolling before last night. You could kind of see that loss coming, and scheduled loss against the Clippers. The Clippers have been off 4 days. Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back. The Westbrook factor, which Russ came out on fire in the first quarter, and then the Clippers just kind of cruised home from there to defeat the Lakers. So, yeah, just last night's last night's win by Dallas really kind of makes it iffy to me.
Yeah.
With the way the Thunder have been playing, which hasn't been great, it just feels kind of like they're going to come up short, which a week or two ago, if you'd have told me that, I'd have thought you were crazy. We talked about, do they have a better chance of being in the playoffs than missing the play-in?
Yeah, before this little slide, they were pushing for that.
But as the games have gotten more important, as the teams have gotten more focused on them, you see flaws.
Right.
And there's some obvious ones there. So
the Dallas thing, the thing that's always concerned me, even though they're already – I was early on this bandwagon of the trade for Kyrie, the pairing with Luka. Is it a failure? And I was very early on it. Now, I think there's still a lot of disappointment, but there's always that chance of Kyrie doing what Kyrie did last night.
Oh, he was awesome.
You know what I mean?
He was
He's
awesome
still a
in the
superstar.
quarter.
He's
there's
still
no doubt.
same thing.
And here's the thing. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of hearing that this is all Kyrie's fault.
Yeah.
Where's Luka is the most Teflon player in the league.
Yes.
I don't know if it's just because everybody wants him to be the superstar because everybody, coming in, he was a little bit of – I mean, people that had seen him knew that, okay, this guy's going to be really good. But it just seems like there's this we're smarter than you about Luka because we thought he was going to be good draft night from a lot of the people that pay attention to the league, and therefore they protect him. I mean – you want to talk about the least criticized guy in basketball, Luka Doncic, and what has he done to deserve that?
Whine to the refs a lot.
I mean, did you see last night?
Rubs a lot of people the wrong way. No, I just score.
De'Aaron Fox. He just ripped De'Aaron Fox's arm off going down the lane, gets called for a foul, and he starts jumping up and whining to the refs. And De'Aaron Fox is looking at him like, "Come on, bro, your handprint is on my arm." You don't think that was a foul? I mean, it was so funny just to see like the eye roll from De'Aaron Fox going, "Are you serious, Clark?"
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That's why. Yeah, but you're right.
And
he gets a lot of passes on this.
I think so too. Okay, so Thunder win 2, you're in. Win 1 of 2, you need the Mavs to lose them both. You probably have no chance to make the play-in game. Hugh Freeze. Now, we mentioned this at the end of the show yesterday. He has a really interesting idea to enhance the spring football experience. His idea is to go through spring ball, and then instead of playing yourself in a spring game, he wants to play like a smaller in-state school. So, like, for instance, now that he's at Auburn, let's play UAB, or let's play Troy, or somebody like that as the spring game. Head coach Bob Stoops, or former head coach Bob Stoops of Oklahoma, has glommed onto this and agrees wholeheartedly that he thinks it's a great idea to be able to get away and hit somebody else a little bit. What do you think? I think this is something that seems pretty simple to get accomplished that would really kind of make a difference, I think.
Love it. I love the idea for the fans. I think it would, there's always the brag, which is such a weak flex for me. We got the most fans at the spring game this year. Give them a reason to really come, watch it. I think it'd be great for the fans, for both fan bases. It doesn't have to be the same team you're scrimmaging every year. Just do a home and home. Okay, this year, you would go to Auburn. Next year, Auburn would come to Norman. But the takeaway is, darn, we don't get a spring game at home this year. It only happens every other year.
Yeah, I don't think that's the idea.
What's the idea?
It's to play Tulsa.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be big schools playing big schools.
Oh, then I don't like the idea.
No, it's not. It's going to be.
Does a small school really want to subject themselves to that?
Hell yes. It'll be the biggest thing they do all year. You don't think UCO wouldn't want to travel down to Norman for a spring game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, God, there's a reason these guys weren't recruited by the big dogs. I don't want to get them hurt. But is there still – okay, would the quarterback still wear a blue jersey?
I don't know I don't know the rules of the game. But either way, I mean, it's a way better idea than just to play yourself. Because, I guarantee you they'll have the blue jersey on if you play yourself.
Yeah, oh yeah. And that's the thing we've always said, like the beginning of high school season. first game. It's like, all right, finally, these guys have been wanting to hit someone else other than their own teammates. You can see that a little earlier with this.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm all about it.
Yeah, you're not going to see A&M and OU or Arkansas and OSU. No. That's not what's going to happen. But it gets you a way to play. Way more people would be interested in watching Oklahoma play Tulsa than they're going to be watching Oklahoma play Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They just will be. It's just, and it, you see this in the NFL with those joint practices ahead of, in the training camps, maybe even ahead of one of their preseason games where they get together, and that's the reason that's always given. They're tired of hitting each other. They're tired of fighting each other, and then inevitably you see somebody rip somebody's helmet off every year in one of those joint practices just because they're just tired of and ready to see somebody else. I think it's a great idea. We'll see if it happens. But, yeah, they talked to, Trent Dilfer is the coach at UAB now. And they asked him, would you want to go play Alabama in the spring? And he was like, are you kidding me? What do you think? 100%. Please. Just the exposure that it would create. And maybe in a weird way, for the bigger schools, it also might create a little exposure for some guys they might be looking to add through that transfer portal as well. So maybe it's one of those things that you open up Pandora's box and it may not work out as well for the smaller schools as they think.
You never know. Let's try it.
Yeah, but I just think it would just create so much more of a buzz if there was even though it's a smaller opponent, it's an actual different opponent as opposed to trying to create some kind of score system that nobody understands in order to try to make the game somewhat competitive or somewhat intriguing with the way that those things happen.
I always hated that. Just do touchdowns and extra points and field goals and be done with it.
Yeah, just have the ones versus the twos. It's what you do in practice anyway. Yeah. So we'll see if that happens. Could be it's kind of another an extra added layer of spring football coming up in the future. Give you a double barrel Masters leaderboard update. Not only from the tournament, but also we had a pretty good group here playing the fantasy game with us, Jared.
How many did we get in there? We even failed to mention at the top.
I think there was 29.
Well, that's pretty good for last minute.
Yeah. I'll tell you for sure.
Even got
28.
a prize. 28.
28 of you playing.
That's great. Everybody
must have the same couple of guys because it's early. You get points for like birdies and hole outs, stuff like that. You've got 282 Driller with 7 points. Jeremy has 7. Who did they pick? Kevin Kisner is where everybody's getting 7 points from. John Green, Coach Green. Coach Green's got his points from Taylor Gooch, former OSU product, now live golfer. So it's not just Kiz that's getting the points. But anyway, a Sayre National t-shirt on the line. It'd be cool. Augusta National, Sayre National.
Perfect, right?
Maybe not in the same category because they don't have the same number of holes, but the shirt's cool. We actually commented on them, seeing them there on a Monday.
Yeah, they look real good.
Will says, watch out for Mito Pereira. He played good at Tulsa last year in the same kind of weather that's coming on over the weekend. It's a good point. Very good point. Tiger did not make that birdie putt, but he did tap in for par. Jeremy's got Gooch. So Gooch and Kiz. Taylor Gooch and Kevin Kisner are the ones scoring the points so far here at the Masters. Leaderboard update, Scott Stallings, Adrian Meronk, Kiz, Fat Pat, Sahith Theegala. Seamus Power. Did you see what he did yesterday?
No.
Seamus Power made he made back-to-back holes in one.
Oh, really?
And what's crazy is that's like the third or fourth time that's happened at the par 3 contest. You would have thought, oh my gosh, that's got to have never have happened.
When they show you the stat, or just the one stat, how many hole-in-ones have been hit during the par 3, and then how many like in each year. There's so many this year, and I'm like, man, that is a crazy amount of hole-in-ones each and every year, right? So how many were there yesterday? Did you say?
2 from Power. Tom Hoagie had one. Scotty Scheffler had one. Bubba had one. 5 or 6.
And who won it?
Tom Hoagie.
Okay, so he's not going to win the Masters.
It's never happened before.
That's right.
Tiger flares it in the bunker off 2. Trying to hook it around the corner. His hook looks a lot like mine. A soft cut. So those are the guys that are leading. It's very, very early here in the Masters. Yeah, 5. There it was. 5? Yeah. 2 from Power, 1 from Scheffler, 1 from Bubba, and 1 from Tom Hoagie, who was the champion. I think we got to see, that's something they kept on referencing the par 3 and how much different it is now than it was. I mean, they changed the course. I think they said it took like 99 days to change the first 5 holes there at the par 3 course this year. Way, way, way less trees, opened it up, reconfigured some holes so that they can get more people in there to watch it because it's kind of taken on a life of its own over the past couple of decades. It started out as just kind of a friendly thing to do to get everybody's mind off of it. Now it's become this huge thing that people want to go see and that the players seem to really enjoy. There was only like 8 or 10 that didn't participate yesterday that are in the tournament. Tiger didn't for obvious reasons as far as health. The less that he can be on that leg, the better. Phil didn't, probably for obvious reasons. That he's really, to his credit, trying to keep to himself and not become a distraction to the tournament because of the LIV Golf stuff. And there's some others that didn't play as well, but it's cool to see those guys get out there in that atmosphere and be that relaxed. I can just imagine that it is, aside from seeing the golf course itself, if you were there, I think the practice round ticket on Wednesday is becoming a fan favorite because of the way that those guys have embraced that competition as a family event. Everybody's kids rolling around or dad or mom, whatever it might be. It's just really it's another thing that just makes the Masters so special and so much different than any other golf tournament on earth.
Yeah, it's fun to watch yesterday, and I'm soft-hearted, like watching the kids doing the thing, and then the parents, the dads graciously give up their scorecard so their kid can take a putt.
Let's not kid ourselves. They all know what you said. That stat when you said, "Well, Tom Hoagie's not winning the Masters." They all know that nobody's ever won the par 3 and won the tournament.
Superstitious thing.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah,
you know it. And you can actually kind of see them all try on the first shot because they all want to make a hole in one.
Right.
And then as soon as that's over and it doesn't go in, it's like, all right, JT's picking dudes out of the crowd to come and putt. I mean, how cool would that be?
Oh, yeah.
He actually said, they asked him, why did you do that? And he actually referenced when he was a kid, the one time he went to the tournament, he saw, I can't remember who he said it was, but he saw somebody, one of the pros, do that, pick a kid out of the crowd. And he talked yesterday about how jealous he was of that kid and how bad he wanted that to be him, and so now he does that for another child, able to give them a thrill of an absolute lifetime, getting out, hitting a putt for Justin Thomas. That is just so incredibly cool.
I'd be shaking like a leaf in the wind.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
but you're right though. The
crowd's
family
really,
aspect of it is
and
what's
the
cool.
crowd's cool because I think it is becoming a must see thing there. Outside of actually, watching the tournament on Sunday, but the crowd, when you see the kids do, and the kids, yeah, sure, it takes them 5 times to putt it in, but they do. The crowd's like, yay, just really encouraging, and it's neat.
How about Siwoo Kim? His caddy was his wife. His wife is a pro golfer, and she got up there and hit it to like a foot on number 9. He's like, yeah, I always lose. This is nothing different for me. She always beats me. And so that, that's an extra little added thing.
And you get a little bit more insight too when, with the interviews with, you don't get that during the middle of a round, obviously, but they get them almost between shots and getting, hey, how you doing? How's your week going? And just kind of more of a human feel to these guys where they're kind of relaxed and open up a little bit more during interviews.
Yeah, and Curtis Strange talked about how, he liked to he didn't play much in the par 3 when he was competitive because he viewed that as a time to really kind of charge your batteries and rest. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about, some of them would actually use the par 3 to try to sharpen things up from a, wedge perspective or even some putts. They asked Rory, what, do you get anything out of this? And he said, absolutely nothing. As far as for the tournament, he said, yeah, absolutely nothing. This doesn't do me any good for tomorrow, but it's, it's awesome. And I want to do it every single year. He wasn't downgrading it as an event, just as a way to try to prepare for the tournament. But it's just another one of those awesome traditions that just it just makes the Masters so special. What in your mind is a success this week for Tiger Woods?
Well, get to Sunday. I mean, make the cut. I'm just being realistic here. We talked off air about how he's looking right now walking. You didn't even tell me how he finished that first hole. I'm not watching it like you are, but you're telling me, he looks good walking right here. He picked up the ball. And if there's no delays, which I hope there's not with the weather, and he can get through today just fine. And you're right, today's going to be the day to have a really low score because tomorrow and Sunday or Saturday might be inflated, and even Sunday with the weather. But just make the cut, see what happens Saturday, and just hope he doesn't withdraw on Sunday like he did at in Tulsa. So we'll see what happens. But that's me. I'm just being realistic. The easy answer is say win the whole damn thing, but come on. Let's be realistic here. Make the cut. Wear red on Sunday.
Weather is the weather is not his friend if it does what it looks like it could do. With the tee times that he's drawn, he would have much rather had afternoon today, morning tomorrow, to hopefully get all 36 of his holes in before maybe the rain would cause a delay. It's hard to see, no matter how well he's hitting it, because of the endurance problems that he obviously has, and we haven't seen anything to the contrary, right? Especially in these major tournaments, it almost doesn't matter how well he's playing. If he is forced to play 27 holes in one day, it's just hard to see him being able to compete. And so, yeah, I think make the cut and see what happens would be a huge accomplishment for him again, just by making the cut at this golf tournament. The one thing that always, though, is a little bit different here is that it is here. And the experience that he has around this golf course is a massive, massive advantage. And knowing how to play, you know what I mean? And so if the forecast was you're just going to have to play 18 holes every day and you could guarantee it, I think my expectations might go up just a little. Not clear to the be in the chase on Sunday. I'm not going to get there because we haven't seen him be able physically to even get close to doing that. But because it is at Augusta, and by all accounts his game is good, maybe, to be around on Saturday wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. And then as it wears on, maybe you're not, then he kind of starts to fade away. But with what it looks like the weather's going to be, I think you're right. Making the cut and just seeing what happens. Just let's see what happens after making the cut. That would be the first thing that would need to happen. So it's maybe a tough break for him weather-wise this year. The tournament has started, so now I want to ask you, if you had the ability to wave your magic wand, and I want this to be realistic, what would be your last three pairings on Sunday? The reason I say realistic, like if it was me and you said, okay, what is your dream pairings on Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
My dream pairing would be Tiger and Freddie in the final group. Okay, that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that would be my dream pairing. But as far as what might and possibly could happen, what do you want to see going into the last 3 groups? If you could wave your wand, what would you want to see on Sunday?
If I'm being realistic, and then I'm going to be rooting for myself, I'd want to see. First off, I want to see Scheffler for the storyline of trying to repeat. Then for the local flavor, I'd love to see Hovland get in there and try to burst through that ceiling, break through, win this major, and then that talk of, okay, look at this young guy. He, kind of like how Jordan Spieth came through. And I had a third guy in mind, and it escaped my head. Do I have to give you 3?
I mean, you're doing half the assignment. I'm talking about pairings. I'm talking about 6 dudes, like this group,
man.
this group, this group. So, like for instance, here I'll tell you what I did. So if it was up to me, the third or the second to last pairing on Sunday would be Scheffler because of that reason, trying to win back-to-back, paired with Xander Schauffele, trying to win his first major. And he just hit an awesome chip from left of the green. He's going to make a birdie on 2. So it'd be Scotty and Xander in the second to last group. The next to last group, I'd like to see Rory and Jon Rahm.
Yeah, I was thinking of Rory.
I think that's a comfortable pairing for them. The Ryder Cup teammates. I think that's a good pairing for those two. And then in the last group, I would like to see Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. Best friends, comfortable pairing. I excluded, when I first thought of this question, I immediately went, okay, one PGA guy, one LIV guy.
Right.
But I excluded the LIV guys. I don't want to see them do well this time. Maybe next year, but not this time.
But go back to your question. Realistically, though, which one of those LIV guys could be there?
Bunch of them.
Yeah. I know I don't want to see it, but
obviously Koepka's playing really well, winning twice in 6 tries, won last week on that LIV Tour. Patrick Reed's 1 under through 5. Sergio Garcia's 1 under through 6. And then it's weird when I started looking down the list. I already had Jason Day in my mind as a dark horse, right, for yesterday's picks. Mm-hmm. Then I started actually looking down the list of who was outside the top 25. You know who you could have had? Dustin Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems unfair as a dark horse, right? But I mean, does anybody really think it's out of the realm of possibility for Dustin Johnson to go in there and win again?
In our contest, I put him on there. In our on
the
fantasy
thing.
Yeah. No, that's not unrealistic at all.
So, there's always, those are the names I think that you would kind of have there from that LIV Tour that would have a possibility of being in the, wouldn't be surprised if any of those guys were right in the mix when we get to the final round on Sunday or Monday or whatever it actually happens. So nobody, let's see, Adrian Meronk has now reached 2 under. Then a bunch of guys at 1 under is starting to see some guys filter onto the back 9 in their first round here at the Augusta National. First round of the Masters. Little poke flavor at the top of the leaderboard as the name you just mentioned, Jared, Mr. Victor Hovland. Big Victor Eagle on number 2. He has a share of the lead with Adrian Meronk at 2 under par early on here in the first round of the Masters. So Victor Eagle's number 2 and just laces it down the middle of the fairway on the short par 4 third. So maybe we see Victor Hovland kind of set the standard out in front of everybody early on here at Augusta National. Tigers made 2 pars. Xander Schauffele with a birdie on 2. So he's 1 under par as well. Early going here at Augusta. All right, Jared. Man, it sure seems like the changes that Major League Baseball has made, the pitch clock has done exactly what they were hoping it would do, and that is make games more enjoyable because of the quicker pace. They're averaging just a little over 2.5 hours as opposed to a little over 3 hours. So far, seemingly so good for Major League Baseball here in the early going.
Yeah, we touched on that. It feels like it's speeding up the game and making it a little bit more entertaining. Let's see if it lasts, though. I mean, we're barely a weekend. Not even it's Thursday, a weekend. So let's see if is this just the result of we were happy with the way the World Baseball Classic went, and our taste for baseball, we still wanted more, and we were getting it, and we're paying attention, and there's still that hope of opening day, and then our teams are doing good actually a weekend. Let's see if we're still talking about this, I don't know, mid-June.
Yeah, it almost feels like right now, every single season, it seems like the NBA and the referees, they always start out with some sort of directive. Like, we're going to make this call more often this year, whatever that might be. And it starts out guns a-blazing. They're calling a moving screen every 3 times down the floor.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to April and right before the playoffs and into the playoffs, you're looking around going, wonder what happened to calling all those moving screens. They kind of quit doing that, right?
Right.
Do we think that the pitch clock tapers off? I really don't think so. I think they'll continue to do it because it is now – it's so weird to see the graphics watching on TV, and you know good and well they have one in the stadium. So there's really no way to quit calling it, right? Because as soon as it gets to 0, it's to 0. Now, whether or not they start to give a little bit more lenience on a second here, a second there, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think they're going to get away from what the directive and what the goal was enough for it not to continue to at least work shortening the game times. Now, whether or not everybody continues to play baseball the way they're playing baseball right now, I talked about the stolen base attempts and steals in the first handful of days are double and a half than what they were last year. Hopefully that part of it continues as well with the quicken pace. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I know one thing, it just sure does feel like baseball got this one right, at least here in the first few games.
Yeah.
So if they got this right, what do you want to see them get right next?
Well, I'm with you on the postseason stuff. Give us some afternoon World Series games. Open up the window of more viewership by doing that. You got nothing going on Sunday afternoon, let's play Game 3. Just an example. Stuff like that. Will they make – they've tried in the past to make different postseason changes, whether it be to expand the postseason participants playing games, stuff like that. Maybe try to experiment with game times of postseason games and lower the damn ticket prices.
Well, that last one, I'm afraid, maybe wishful thinking. But it's a good job by Major League Baseball, it feels like to me. Did you see what happened?
But again, I'll say this. Ask me in June if I'm still entertained after my Rangers are 10 games below 500. You know what I mean? Then it kind of, okay, the interest kind of goes away when someone's team isn't as good as opposed to is good. But right now, the returns are very positive.
See what happened yesterday in my Brewers game?
No, you mentioned on top. No. What happened?
Okay, so Garrett Mitchell is a rookie for the Brewers, 24 years old. He hits a walk-off home run to sweep the Mets, 7-6.
Oh, the lowly Mets.
After it's over, he mentions in the post-game interview, he said, "Yeah, I always do the cool stuff when my wife's not here watching."
Rookie mistake.
Well, here's the deal. His wife turned out to be a professional softball player.
Oh.
Her last name is Rouse, played at Oregon. Haley Cruz. And she immediately takes to Twitter and just starts lambasting him about, okay, Brewers fans, I'm never coming to the park again. Da-da-da-da-da. So that was, rookie mistake to say the least when giving credit to your walk-off home run for your wife not being there.
That's oh man, he's
Is
gonna pay
that
for
a move you would have made?
Oh no. Oh no.
It does not feel like a positive development around the Mitchell house.
Because come bedtime, she might go, I'm going to leave. Go ahead and give yourself credit.
John Rahm is pulling an Ernie Els on number 1. Remember Ernie Els a couple years ago? He 7-putted.
Oh, no.
John Rahm has now struck the putter 3 times and has still got a little teaser. So you John Rahm fans, it's going to be at least double bogey on number 1.
That's what I get for picking him in my fantasy.
Tapped her in. So a 4-putt for John Rahm and number 1 for a double bogey.
Ouch.
Now, speaking of my Brewers, they are tied for the best record in the National League, along with the Bravos. Both teams 5-1. How about my hat? Like my hat?
I love your hat, by the way.
My hat's pretty sweet,
Forgot
isn't it?
to mention that on air. Yes. Very cool hat.
And for the first time maybe in my life, I did not just crunch the bill. You and Scott on the text line got me talked into just kind of letting it work.
It's not so much it's not a fashion statement. When you get a new hat and you see somebody with a new hat and it's a flat bill, it doesn't mean they intend it to stay flat forever. It naturally curves around your head. You can still put your sunglasses on.
That's what sold me on this, to be quite honest with you, was the idea of the sunglasses, because I know exactly what y'all are talking about. When you crunch the bill down so much, it's hard to get your sunglasses to stay and be comfortable. That's exactly right. I could not agree more with that. I had sunglasses on last night wearing them, and yes, it's so much more. They just work better with your hat not completely crunched up on the bill. From the text line, you're not truly a husband yet till you stick your foot in your mouth on the regular.
I couldn't agree with that anymore.
Speaking of, we'll wrap the show this way by wishing my lovely bride a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Kara. Another year more beautiful. So,
very good.
Happy birthday to Kara.
Happy birthday, Kara. And you celebrated that last night?
Yeah, we went out and ate last night. She's at some continuing education today.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we went ahead and ate.
Must have been a family-only thing.
It was.
I'm just not doing much last night.
It was family. Just me, Kara, and Wyatt.
Well, very good.
I had the brownie pie for you, Jared. I didn't want to, but I thought, you know what? If Jared was here, he would want the brownie pie, so I'm going to do it.
Good approach.
Tiger stubbed it on number 3. Had to. Yikes. It's not his foot the problem from 50 yards out. I'm just going to throw that out there. Everybody have a wonderful Thursday. Enjoy the Masters. We'll be back tomorrow right here on the Skinny on Sports.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered around.